Hey guys, welcome back to the MJ Gooner podcast right here for the post-match review. Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1, and what a game it had been. It's certainly very, very tough. Very tough game in general. A lot of things to talk about, even prior to the game. A few big news that happened. I could have probably uploaded a podcast over the weekend or maybe the weekdays, maybe a week ago. Of course, the first one I want to talk about is pretty much Jurgen Timber, who is pretty much confirmed that he's going to be out for pretty much the entirety of the season, probably 7 months out at best. Maybe he can make a comeback in April or May, but you know what? If we somehow can manage and get over the line without him, then I would rather see him next season. I don't want to rush him back into the starting lineup or to the team that early. But what a shame. I feel bad for him. The fact that he just moved to London for a pretty expensive move as well, 45.5 million euros, I believe so. And the fact that he wanted to move, and Arsenal wanted the move as well. And for the preseason, the majority of the preseason, he has been amazing for us. And the fact that everybody was expecting a lot from him, especially when he was being very good. And right now, first official game or first Premier League, he just tore his ACL. I think there's no damage, or I don't think there's any significant damage to his meniscus. I think the side of the ligament around the knee area, but just the ACL is torn. And yeah, it's very tough for him for sure. Mentally, it can be very daunting in terms of recovering from a big injury, and especially when you just get to move aboard. Well, all I can say is that I hope he's going to get well soon and come back stronger. I know there are certain players, or there are players in the past where after an ACL, they're never the same before. I mean, the likes of Rob Holding, I remember that season 2018, 2019, it was amazing until he tore his ACL against the United game, which I believe we drew that game or we lost that game. And after that, Rob Holding just didn't quite seem to be the same player as before, because I thought that season 2018, 2019 was his breakout season, but that injury just kind of hurts him a lot. Same as Hector Bellerin. Same year, if I remember correctly, towards ACL against Chelsea, which we lost, I believe so. Again, two promising players, but both of them, I believe, the career just kind of not living up to that expectation because of that injury. So hopefully Jurgen Timber, I mean, he's still young, 22-year-old, but as long as that ACL doesn't affect his athleticism, you guys know what I'm talking about, then it will be fine. But it's going to be very tough for him, but I'm sure he will recover. I'm sure he's going to recover quickly, and hopefully he will come back stronger. Second agenda is Gabriel. When we look at the starting lineup again, we thought Gabriel's going to start this game. It's quite obvious as well. I mean, against Crystal Palace. I mean, Nottingham Forest. We were at home. We know what Nottingham Forest was going to do throughout the whole game. So we were okay. So we were... we can play whatever three at the back and dropping Gabriel for that game, but I thought this game we have to play Gabriel as well. But like I said, if you play Gabriel, you need to probably have Zinchenko right next to him. And Zinchenko was back from his injury, his calf injury. He was available on the bench today, and Gabriel was dropped yet again. And then there's rumors going around before the start time, or before the kickoff time, where there was a talk between one of the Saudi club and also Gabriel are reaching to an agreement, or Arsenal and one of the Saudi club is reaching to an agreement. But in the end, I think everybody thought that was going to be the case, and that's why he wasn't played, because we don't want to drop him. It's because we might be able to sell him healthy and get a pretty sizable fee for that. But in the end, I think Fabrizio Romano denied those rumors, and turns out he is staying. I hope he is staying. Honestly, yeah, I did. I did criticize uh, Big Gabby quite unfairly before. Might be a little bit too harsh on him, but I think when I look back, post World Cup, Gabby was amazing. I mean, even though he made a few mistakes towards the end of the run, but I don't quite blame him. I mean, he put on a good shift for 4 or 5 months in that crucial stage. I mean, Saliba just came back from World Cup, was a little bit tacky at times, a little bit raw at times, but Big Gabby just saved Saliba a lot of times around the Christmas, New Year New Year time, where Big Gabby had been very impactful and around those times. So I really hope that he's not going to leave, because again, it wouldn't quite make sense if he leaves, especially when Timber is leaving. Not Timber's leaving. Timber's injured. Tierney is, Tierney, it's what? Leaving. Rob Holding is leaving as well. So the fact that getting a replacement, finding a perfect replacement right now, especially we are 10 days or 10, 11 more days until the end of the transfer window, is a little bit unrealistic. So I'm thankful that he's staying. And Kieran Tierney, again, like I said, I've been supporting him, defending him for the past few weeks, for the past few months, knowing that his playing time might be getting slimmer and slimmer every match. And I really hope that he stay, playing as the, like if we invert the right hand side, you can play him as kind of a low block left center back, left back player, but it seems like it's not going to be the case. So it's a shame. No matter how much I wanted Tierney to stay, but the team, it's bigger than the players sometimes. So it was just a shame. So let's talk about this game. Crystal Palace, of course, last season we travel for the first game of the 2022-2023 season. We beat them 2-0. It was, the scoreline looks quite flattening, but in reality, I remember how stressful it was. I think we score in the first half, and we didn't score another goal until Guai scoring an own goal towards the last 10 minutes of the game, which kind of relieved a lot of Arsenal players back then, and also the fans back then, and that's how we got a win. And honestly, traveling away to Selhurst Park, it's not going to be an easy game at all. I believe for the past 10 games, Crystal Palace has lost at home. I believe one of them is Man City and the other one is Arsenal, which is today. And I'm happy that, Arsenal somehow sealed out a win in this game alongside with some horrendous referee decision. And honestly, no matter how ugly this game is or was, a win is a win. This is a perfect saying for that phrase. A win is a win, no matter how ugly the process is, no matter how ugly the match was. We might not be putting 100% every time, but, we get the result done. Because when we look back in a few months' time or in a few years' time, when we look back to this particular game, it's not going to impact our Arsenal fans or Arsenal in general a lot. So I think at the end of the day, the 3-point matters. And we got that in a very Arsenal fashion, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Let's kind of deep dive into the game. Like I said, playing as the pretty much the same formation, I assume. So it is the same formation, but Tomiyasu coming on for the injured Timber. I think, the thing is, I did watch the game, but sometimes it's been 8-9 hours after the game. I don't quite remember some part of it, but I remember the first part where I believe Kai Havertz kind of, rolls the ball into the middle to Martinelli. I think Martinelli didn't really have a good game today. He looks very hardworking, but the fact that decision making is still lacking on this player, especially when he is kind of entering into his prime. And moments like that just kind of, I was a little bit upset that he didn't take that chance. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. He has all the time he's in his world. He has quite a lot of space around him as well. I think the fact that I believe Joe Ward was kind of dragging the middle as well to Declan Rice or maybe Nketiah, and leaving the free man, Martinelli, kind of inside the box. He got the ball, but it took him way too long to go for it. I mean, there are a few ways to take that chance. Probably want to do a first time finish with your right foot. If not, touch and finish with your left. I mean, we have seen Martinelli scoring with his left foot, which was pretty good. I'm very surprised that he didn't take that chance, because honestly, that was pretty much one of the early chances that we have in the game. Honestly, if we had Trossard in that area, I think it would have been a totally different outcome. He might not score. I'm not saying that if having Trossard in that situation, he is definitely going to score. But at least having the ability to shoot on goal, which is also very important as long as you're creating chances. And Martinelli didn't take it. But throughout the whole first half, we've been dominating in possession once again. I mean, with the way how we play and how how Crystal Palace was setting up as well, playing low block. They have literally tall, strong players all around the pitch, and it's really tough to beat Crystal Palace, especially when you're traveling away. I mean, they are a pretty good team in terms of that aspect of the game. But you know what? I'm thankful that Zaha is no longer with Crystal Palace anymore, because I know if Zaha is in this game, he would definitely torture Thomas Partey on the Thomas Partey on the right side. But thank God he wasn't there, and somehow we were kind of have a little bit of breathing room. Again, it's the same sequence of play every time you see. There's nothing much going on. You just know that Arsenal trying to pass the ball around, trying to find pocket of space in the middle. But I feel like we have been not taking our chances critically, clinically in the middle. I feel like we missed a few chances as well. I think Saka would have probably have a chance to have a shot on target a few times, cutting back into the middle against Mitchell. And again, what Crystal Palace has been doing is pretty much playing us low block and go at you for the counter attack. And IU had 2 to 3 crosses in the first half, where it was quite close. It was around the danger area, but Ramsdale was there to pump it away twice or catch it at least for one of them. And the first half was a lot to learn. But you know what? The big man you have to talk about in the whole game today was Declan Rice. I think he was tremendous. I think he was phenomenal. He has that kind of a big character presence on the pitch. He has only been within Arsenal as an Arsenal player for less than 2 months, and right now making such a big impact as well. Forget about looking at the assists, the goals, and stuff like that. I think the fact that he has been popping up here and there, left and right, very commanding on the pitch, and controlling the game as well. Of course, there's one play. It was honestly, speaking of Declan Rice, I mean, let's kind of shift the focus on Eddie. I think Eddie had a great game today. I know he probably missed 2 chances. One of them was kind of a through ball to Eddie. It was from Saka, but his first touch, the way how he brings the ball, the way how he drags Anderson into the play as well. Eddie has the speed. Eddie has the strength as well. Kind of bypass Anderson and try to finish it with his left foot. It was a very clever finish in the way how he was being bodied at around that moment. But it was just unfortunate that the ball hit the woodwork. And there was another one where Declan Rice was popping everywhere. I think he was right outside the box, assisting or potentially assisting Eddie on the right outside the box, and he was through on goal, and Eddie should have probably placed that one instead of trying to lop it over the goalkeeper. It was a poor decision making. I mean, even though he might not have a play in the middle, but still trying to hit the target in that sense, it's very important. But honestly, I think Eddie was amazing. Even in the second half, he was the one who won the penalty kick. Again, that sequence of play was pretty much the same as the one he missed in the Manchester United friendly game, where again in the United game he made a similar run. I think it was a very poor finish by him last time out, but this time he was clever. He was quick on the ball, quick, better decision making as well, drawing Sam Johnston onto the ball as well, leading Sam Johnston, making a mistake, taking him down, and that was a penalty. And yeah, and that was, despite you don't need to, sometimes you don't need to score to have a good game. In a game like this, it would be nice if he scored. But in the game like this, off the ball contribution was amazing. Even on the ball contribution, he was great as well, creating a few chances himself. But that play was amazing. Johnston bringing Eddie down, and we have awarded penalty. At first, I thought Saka was going to be taking the penalty. I thought, please, not Saka this time. There's a lot of pressure. It takes a lot of chances. It takes a lot of it takes a lot of play. It takes a lot of play to have a penalty, or the first penalty kick of the game, and a potential lead as well. Having Saka in there would probably shite my pants. And thank God in the end it was Odegaard, the captain, taking the penalty. And guess what? Odegaard scored in a very modern way of taking a penalty as well. That little shuffle before he took that penalty, just beautiful placement. Took a 1-0. And that's all you need, right? 1-0. It feels like momentum started to build a little bit more after that goal. We might potentially add a few more. That's how we think. But guess what? The referee, David Coote, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Of course, horrendous decision making as well. I think it was a little bit too harsh on the first one, but I can see why he would have given it the yellow card to Tomiyasu. But honestly, you can probably blame or probably give a card to Kai Havertz because he had the possession of the ball before the throw-in. It was Tomiyasu who came in trying to do a throw, but by the time he threw the ball, the referee blew the whistle, and yeah, by the time blew the whistle, it was a little bit too late. Yellow card for Tomiyasu, and honestly, I thought it was a little bit. I think it was Arsenal had that kind of a mentality where we try to relax a little bit. The pressure was kind of off after scoring the first goal, but you know what? Against Crystal Palace, we probably don't want to do that, especially away from home. And Arsenal was a little bit naive in that way, being way too relaxed at that point. Tomiyasu picked up yellow card around 67 minutes, and you know what? Jordan Ayew had been. Was it Jordan Ayew? I think Jordan Ayew had a pretty decent game on the right hand side, but if Jordan Ayew dribble past you, it's going to be tough as well. And the recovery pace for Tomiyasu is not going to be as quick as Jurgen Timber. But guess what? 10 minutes later, Tomiyasu actually brought down. Well, he didn't actually bring down Jordan Ayew. It was a little bit of a dive. I don't think the contact was too much, to be honest, and I think it was way too harsh on that one. It should not have been a red card. Even everybody was surprised, and even the pundits or neutral fans or football fans thought that was a very tough call. It was a harsh call as well. And when you look at the replay, Tomiyasu barely make any contact. Maybe a little bit of tug on the shirt, but that was about it. I don't know what David Coote had seen, but certainly I know he's a Manchester United fan. I'm not trying to blame him. I don't want to blame too much on him. But the fact that the whole VAR rule was just completely stupid. It's the fact that you can't really quite challenge a second yellow card. We have already seen a few this week. I believe there was 5 red card was shown, including the one against McAllister in the Liverpool game. Honestly, when I look at the McAllister challenge, I don't think that was. I don't think it was a red card. I think it was a little bit too harsh. Certainly, he didn't. Of course, studs were up, but you can tell he was, he was trying not to go or having a follow through to it. But yeah, that's that's pretty much sums up the whole VR situation. I feel like new season, same refereeing decision, same officiating. We just have to live it up with it. I mean, what else can we do, right? What else can we do? But I don't know if we can challenge the call. I don't know if we can appeal that call, but we will have to see. And later on, again, playing against a 10-man Arsenal, against Crystal Palace, you know you're in trouble. You know you're bound in trouble. You know we're not going to score. We all know Arsenal was not going to score. And that moment, I believe we're 25 minutes in until the end of the game. It was the time where Arsenal had to sit back and defend, and everybody did amazingly. Partey, Ben White, Saliba, that tackle he had, even though it was a poor touch from him, it was a little bit of a mistake, but he recovered very well. I thought it was a penalty at first, but when you look at the replay, how beautiful that tackle was. Just time it perfectly against Jordan Ayew. Is it Jordan Ayew? I think it was Jordan Ayew. No appeal from Jordan Ayew as well, so you know how good that tackle was when the opposition player didn't appeal for a penalty. Tomiyasu was great today again. He might not be a big fuel in terms of the offensive power, but defensively duel winning, he has been top. Even though he got cooked a few times, or maybe a couple of times, or one time by Jordan Ayew, but that was about it. And we have to defend with 10-man Arsenal, again, playing as a low block area. Right now, kind of reversing the role with Crystal Palace. They had the majority of the possession, and Arsenal was just playing the low block. We got the ball, clears it. We just can't really keep possession at that point. And guess what? Thank God Mikel Arteta in the last 5-10 minutes start to make changes around the field. You have Gabriel coming back on. I think he replays Nketiah and putting Havertz up front. Honestly, at this point, Havertz, I think he had a pretty decent game. Not fantastic, but certainly you can see his contribution to the game on the ball, off the ball as well. Sometimes you don't need assists and goals to prove what you're worth, but sometimes off the ball work was good enough to win you ball games, and this is exactly one of those examples. Same as Declan Rice as well. Declan Rice was immense throughout the whole game. Gabriel coming on, putting more defensive power at the back, and later on, very surprising change, which I don't think I would have anticipated. Kiwior coming on, Zinchenko coming on, and also Jorginho coming on, playing as a 5-3-1 formation, having Zinchenko, Kiwior, Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White as the back five. And in the middle, you have Declan Rice, Jorginho, and also Partey, and also up front, you have Havertz. And there's one point, I think it was at least 30 seconds of a play where we just kind of calm, controlling the ball on the left-hand side, just passing between Zinchenko, Jorginho, and also Kiwior. And this is exactly how you want to control the game based on or through your substitution. And honestly, it paid off very well. I mean, at that point, we have 10 more minutes to battle it through. But a game like that, the fact that able to regain some sort of a possession in moments like that with Jorginho on the pitch, Zinchenko on the pitch, Kiwior on the pitch, at least makes the game a little bit more, we can control the game much better. At least we're not allowing Crystal Palace to determine, the outcome of the game based on their control of the game, their domination, possession. But in the end, we got the win, and everybody was really happy. I was really happy. I was at work as well. I was really happy seeing the scoreline states at 1-0. Not the prettiest win. Probably a very ugly win as well. But we got the job done. I mean, this might be a sign of what a champion could be. But I think it's really, really early to tell. I mean, City got the result against Newcastle, winning 1-0. Brighton this season, honestly, I can see Brighton finishing a top 5 this year. They're looking very good without Caicedo. I watched the game, Chelsea against West Ham. It was quite fun to watch. If you guys didn't really have a chance to watch it, watch the highlight. You will know what I'm talking about. But that's about it for the post-match review. Thank you guys for listening, watching, wherever you guys are at. Do all the good stuff to the channel, and I will see you guys in a bit.